we visited Kong and Godzilla in London for the release of the new Empire. Stay with us later into the video to see how it went. What's up, residents? It's your mayor, Alistair, back once again with some more Godzilla Kong goodness. We're in the final stretch now, only a few days to go until the new Empire releases, and I can just feel the hype. Pre-sales have been good, the anticipation has been building to a monumental height. Warner Bros has really kicked it up a notch with the marketing as of late, and I'm seeing the big lizard's face wherever I go, which just makes me so happy. And whilst the final trailer has already been released, we still have tons of new footage to go through, as more smaller teasers released domestically and internationally, one of which showcases Kong and Zuko in this really touching scene, as well as a better look at that huge IMAX aspect ratio, which will mark the first time a MonsterVerse film has been seen this way. Also, I talked to Adam Wingard himself about his experience as a Godzilla fan, which was just incredible. So let's not waste any more time, let's get to it. First off, let's take a look at that new Kong clip. It's actually really sweet. We see Kong and Zuko sat in the Hollow Earth, and the first thing that becomes immediately clear is that the Hollow Earth is beautiful. Just look at how expansive and majestic the background is. This could be a wallpaper in of itself. Really hoping for more stuff like this in the film. But as for the scene itself, we see Kong trying to hand Zuko a piece of meat, likely from a creature he hunted earlier in the film. From the carcass, it looks to be a sea serpent or eel-like creature, which would make this a classic British meal. But Zuko doesn't trust Kong yet, after the lifetime of abuse from his father, the Scar King. So here comes Kong as an authority figure, but it's going to take a long time before they properly can have faith in each other. He growls at Kong as he doesn't quite understand the sudden display of care and affection. It's likely that Zuko has had to hunt on his own without a true parental role. Kong sighs and throws it to him on the ground, letting him approach it on his own terms, which is something most cat owners can probably relate to. I already love this dynamic. Kong chows down on the meat, pulling the tendons right out of the hunk of flesh, which is just gross. I love it. But Zuko, starving, gives up his wall and picks up the meat and ravenously chows down like a hungry canine. Clearly he hasn't had a good meal in a while, and Kong just gives him a look like, I knew I'd win, and has a little chuckle. And the VFX looks great here. There's so much detail on Kong's face, with the little wrinkles and individual hairs, and you can just tell what he's thinking from the smallest of micro expressions. The team over at Weta have done an incredible job. Next up, we have a brand new IMAX trailer showcasing why you should go see the new Empire on the biggest screen possible. It starts off with this clip of Zuko guiding Kong to this lake in the Hollow Earth. And again, just look at how beautiful this film is. I won't dwell on this clip too long since we've covered it before and got a strike from it. So yeah, not going there again. But I'm getting major God of War vibes from the two of them. And just look at that aspect ratio. We're getting like 20% more screen space with the IMAX version of the film. It's going to be such an amazing visual experience. And no, I'm not getting paid to say this, I'm just really hyped for the film. Later on in this promo, we get an extended look at this shot without the giant IMAX titan in the way, and it just looks so good. This seems to be where Kong will fight the serpent monster before feeding Zuko, since the environment seems to have that same mountainscape. In regards to new clips, we get this epic shot of Scar lashing his bone whip at Kong during their big confrontation in the Hollow Earth. And with the crystal end of the whip that looks like a weakness for Titans, it just barely scrapes by Kong's face. This fight looks like it's going to be nail-biting, and I cannot wait to see the brawl. As for what else is new, I saw that Warner Bros. Set up a huge Kong statue and Godzilla barge over at the South Bank observation point. So I hopped onto a train, set off to Waterloo, went down this sketchy tunnel, saw a giant pigeon, realized I went the wrong way, and first I spotted the OXO tower that they projected the GXK logo onto, which meant I was close by. And hang on, what is that? Yes, I finally made it. There he is, Kong in the flesh, and he is scary. For me, seeing anything Godzilla or Kong related in England is a rarity, so this is a huge moment for me. The statue is massive, probably closer to the scale he was in Skull Island, but it's super detailed, and just look at the fur on it. It rained a bit earlier, so he was a little soggy, but it was super great to be surrounded by people also talking about the film. Kids were getting excited as they went up to take pictures, and people around me were talking about how cool this looked, and you just know your boy had to get a picture with the big guy. I'm so thankful they've set this up because it's just gone and made the release of Godzilla Kong the New Empire all the more special, though most people kept calling it Godzilla vs. Kong, which I guess it kind of is. One person even pointed and went, "Look, it's Godzilla," and I just thought, "Are you stupid?" But speaking about Godzilla, where is he? I waited and waited, but wait, is that... No, unfortunately I didn't see Godzilla. He must have been off destroying another part of London, but I did see a lot of pigeons though. But that's alright, because I was able to speak to the conductor of the Monsterverse as of right now, Adam Wingard, and I got to know more about why he became a monster fan and what made him want to direct a Godzilla film. So check it out.
Alistair, oh my God, I love DangerVille, man. I'm so excited to be talking to you.
Don't say that. I won't be able to keep myself together.
No, I'm dead serious, man. I watch your videos all the time. Like, it's funny, like you guys did a video a couple like months back. It was right after the trailer announced or came out, and you kind of broke down the Monsterverse, and you were talking about like the Showa influences of like the new version of Godzilla. And I mean, I literally had people from the studio calling me like, "Have you seen this video from this YouTube page called DangerVille?" Like, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I've seen it," But you guys do such great work, man. Sorry, I'm interviewing you now, so.
Well, I did have like a whole bit. I was going to explain what DangerVille was, but it seems you already know what it was. What's funny is that I think we started back in 2017, and one of our first like news videos was saying, "We found out who's going to direct Godzilla vs. Kong, and it's Adam Wingard." And that's like all the way back in 2017. It's crazy we're here now with your second one, Godzilla Kong the New Empire. You're the first director to come back and direct, another Monsterverse film.
I mean, no, it's crazy. I mean, like you said, 2017, that's when it got all announced. I mean, Skull Island was still in the theaters, I remember. Yeah. Whenever I was negotiating my contract for the movie. And so it's almost been 7 years now, and it's kind of a crazy thing. I mean, you guys are some of the few people that can relate that, when you spend every day talking and thinking about Godzilla, and the fact that becomes like completely normal is a really kind of funny thing that a lot of people can't relate to. But, Godzilla's such a real character to me at this point that... I've had so many serious discussions over the years with people debating about Godzilla, in terms of making these films, and so it's been a wild ride.
I'll start you off with an easy question. I've got some questions here. What was your favorite toy as a kid?
Oh man, weirdly enough, like my very favorite toy was, and I was a big Thundercat fan, so Thundercats and He-Man, those were like two of my favorite like overall toy lines. But G.I. Joes were like some of the main things for me. And I remember I had this one toy called Crazy Legs, and he's like this red G.I. Joe. And I just liked how just red his costume was, and he had this helmet. I think he was like a paratrooper type G.I. Joe. He wasn't really a character in any of the cartoons, but I just remember I fucking always loved that character, and that was like always...
Was it one you could like drop out your window? Did it have like a parachute?
I can't remember if he actually had a parachute or if he just had if it was like one of the earlier ones, so he just had a shitty like plastic backpack that implied there was a parachute in there or something like that, Because I remember those silver guys later on that had like the silver parachutes that you could drop.
Yeah, they had some like action men that were kind of like that. I would just be chucking it out the window, and my mum would be like, "Stop it! Get hit someone."
Yeah. Well, also I should mention like the other kind of unsung hero for me is like toys was the Alien line of toys. Do you remember those? Like, because
with like the hybrids and stuff.
Yeah, I never heard of the Alien films until they put out those toys, which is hilarious that they put out Alien toys for kids.
I think mine was the Transformers. Do you ever have any Beast Wars?
Oh, that's awesome. No, I didn't have as many Beast Wars. I mean, I had a lot of like original Transformers. And I remember Beast Wars playing on TV specifically because my older brother, that was like his favorite Transformers show. You know what I mean?
It's good taste.
Like the original movie is one of my favorite films still. The Unicron and all that stuff.
Which leads into my next question. Was that Jacob and I experienced Godzilla as like kids during the late 90s, early 2000s with like the 98 film and the animated series, based on the 98 film. What was it like growing up as like a kaiju fan or a monster fan in the 80s? Because obviously there's a big difference from how like you consume content.
Yeah, I mean, my introduction to Godzilla movies was really daytime TV. When it was before I was in school of any kind, and I just remember being home with my brothers and the movie I specifically remember was Godzilla versus Hedorah playing on television, and I remember being kind of scared of it. There's that scene where Godzilla falls into that pit and he's being covered with mud and he can't get up, and it just made me feel so claustrophobic and scared for Godzilla.
There's so many skeletons in that film as well.
Yeah. It's a freaky movie for a kid. Yeah, like the weird like acid like dance sequence in the movie.
I love it. It's one of my favorites.
Me too. I mean, I think that one's my second favorite after the first movie. And my introduction to Godzilla and Kong was television stuff playing on TV. It was like the same time I was experiencing stuff like Big Trouble in Little China, which also for some reason was playing on TV from what I remember. It was cool though because like I'm very lucky because I was born in '82, and so Jurassic Park came out 93? So I was like literally the perfect age when Jurassic Park came out. So, I was obsessed with dinosaurs and monsters, and when that original Jurassic Park hit, it was like, oh my God, we're finally seeing these things brought to life for real. And it was just an unbelievable, great time to be a kid,
Did you like envision like, I'm gonna make a Godzilla film someday? I've got to.
I don't think I would have believed that in my wildest dreams. They almost don't seem created to you when you're a kid. They just seem like they come out of the ether and just exist somehow, It's funny, when I got hired to do Godzilla versus Kong, I was like the final phase of getting hired on that movie was I was playing Mary Parent, who runs Legendary, a rough cut of a movie I was working on at the time, just as she wanted to see where I was at sort of as a director and all that. She, I think the last thing she said to me was something like, I look forward to seeing what you do with a bigger canvas. I remember I went over to Musso and Frank's because that was in walking distance, from our editorial office, and I was like, okay, I'm going to sit here at the most Hollywood restaurant, that's the one that's featured in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and and I waited and waited and nobody called, and then I was walking out the door down Hollywood Boulevard, and I finally got a call from my agent, and he was saying that the deal was put in, and right when I stopped, there was just this big display of like, all these like Godzilla like toys in this window, and I was like, oh man, this is so crazy that here I am like talking about making a Godzilla movie, and they're just all around me here.
Yeah, I'm being told to wrap it up, but I have so many. I've not even got into the actual Godzilla Kong questions.
But yeah, no, like let's plan another longer form interview.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you, man.
If you want the full unedited interview, then become a member today for tons of exclusive content. I was super nervous going into this interview, but honestly, speaking to Adam felt like I was speaking to an old friend. I love that we were able to nerd out, and he said he'd come to DangerVille for a longer discussion, so look forward to that. So to keep up to date with DangerVille, subscribe and stomp the notification button to become a resident today. If you're hyped for the new empire, give this video a big old Kong-sized thumbs up and comment who you're looking forward to seeing the most. Godzilla or Kong. I've been Alistair, and we'll see you residents in the next one.